Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video guide analysis, whatever you want to call it, on Drampa. Now, before we actually get into this analysis, I just want to say, if you missed any of my previous ones, there's a playlist down below. I encourage you to go ahead and check that out. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Links are down below. Great place to keep up to date with me, as well as just to know when I stream Pokemon. So, Drampa, really cool mon, has three pretty solid abilities. Berserk, which is a new ability that raises your special attack by one stage when you're at 50% or less HP. Sap Sipper grants you immunity to grass type attacks and raises your attack by one stage if hit by a grass type attack. And then Cloud 9, which cancels the effects of weather conditions, or the effects of weather conditions are disabled. So it has an incredibly diverse move pool. So I'm just going to say, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Nothing is finalized. Well, nothing's ever finalized on any set. You can change everything. You can change every EV to customize it to whatever you want it to be. But on any of the sets, because it has such a wide special move pool, you can add whatever moves you want to it that fit your team. Now, Drampa has base 135 special attack. That's the biggest thing it has going for it. Base 91 special defense, so decent special defense. At least it's not base 60 HP like everything else in Alola. And then decent defenses at base 85, and then really low speed at base 36. So the first set we have is a defensive calm mindset. This set uses the fact that Drampa does learn Roost, which when you take damage, you can go to Berserk and then roost it up, and then if you take damage again, go back to Berserk, roost it up, and basically just keep boosting your special attack. At the same time, defensive calm mind can set up on a lot of weaker Pokemon. Feral Thorn. We have Berserk over Sap Sipper, just because I think in this one, when you have Roost, Berserk is a bit more practical. Whereas having a grass immunity doesn't matter too much outside of not being put to sleep, because you do have Roost, longevity with leftovers and whatnot. You can calm mind up on most grass types anyway, and Feral Thorn isn't going to be doing too much damage with Leech Seed or Power Whip or anything like that. You do obviously resist that, and you do have Flamethrower to threaten that. So it's physically defensive, calm mind, just 248 HP. You can run max as well, almost max defense, and then 8 speed. The speed, just in case you run into like a creeping Mudsdale or a Toxapex that's running just a little bit more speed, that has haze, so you can hit it with a Hyper Voice, a boosted Hyper Voice before it hazes you. But the moveset is Hyper Voice, Flamethrower, Roost, or Dragon Pulse, or excuse me, Roost, Calm Mind. You can run Dragon Pulse over Hyper Voice if you want, but Hyper Voice gives you coverage versus not only opposing dragons, but also fairy types, which is something that running Dragon Pulse and Flamethrower would make you lose out on. And if you ran Dragon Pulse and Hyper Voice over Flamethrower, then you lose out on coverage versus steel types. So I think Hyper Voice plus Flamethrower is one of the more solid sets that you can run on Drampa on a defensive Roost Calm Mind set. But again, it sets up on Pokemon such as Skarmory, Feral Thorn, a lot of defensive Pokemon it can take hits from. And because of its decent defenses and HP stat, it also takes weaker special attacks. And Calm Mind boosting that up, which is one of its better stats, special defense, it can even take non-style attacks, take on Pokemon such as Greninja after a boosted attack easily, and then knock it out with like a +1 Hyper Voice. So the idea of defensive Calm Mind is to set up, have Roost, so every single time you get to Berserk, Roost back up, get your HP back, still get that special attack boost, and then boost your Spadef at the same time, using it as a defensive sweeper. Next up, we have Life Orb / Specs. Now, you can run Life Orb or Specs on the set, which is why they are slashed. If you're running Life Orb, I would advise Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, Hyper Voice, and Roost. Roost is really nice again, longevity, Life Orb, and even getting hit can take you into Berserk, and this allows you to get another special attack boost, so you can, for that reason, you can actually run Dragon Pulse over Draco Meteor if you don't want full on power. If you are running Specs though, run Draco Meteor, man. Get the full power. And the last move is really up to you. Grass Knot, Energy Ball, Focus Blast if you want to hit Heatran, Surf even if you want to hit Heatran, Landers, Hippowdon, all the above, Thunderbolt. The speed was enough for Pokemon such as Hippowdon, so Grass Knot definitely works on this set. Just max special attack, and the rest is put into HP. But again, Roost gives you longevity on the Life Orb set, allows you to take hits because of your natural resistances. Normal and Dragon resist moves like water, grass, fire. So you can take hits from Rotom, you can take hits from Feral Thorn, take hits from you could even take Earthquakes from Landers if you need to, and knock it out with a Life Orb Draco Meteor. I mean, it does have that base 135 special attack stat, so it hits incredibly hard. Next up is a Trick Room set. Now, Trick Room can run Life Orb or Specs once again. But the idea of this set is abusing that base 36 speed, that really low speed. So go 0 speed IVs, quiet nature to lower your speed, max special attack, rest is put into HP, and then a little bit into def. Again, I like Berserk better on it, but if you're running specs, you can run Sap Sipper. And I'll talk about how Sap Sipper might be not always the best option, because yeah, it gives you an immunity to Leech Seed and Sport, which is really cool. However, most grass types, Tapu Bulu, Ferrothorn, they don't really care if you resist the grass. They just won't go for a grass move. Tapu Bulu has coverage and super power, so it doesn't really care too much, though. It does let you take on Pokemon like Mega Venusaur or better. But watch out for Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu can spore you. Ferrothorn will probably just set up a spike anyway and not go for Leech Seed. But if it does Leech Seed you, great, you get an attack raise. And you get an immunity, and you can knock it out with a Fire Blast after. But this is just a Trick Room slower version of the Life Orb / Specs set. Again, you can run Life Orb or Specs on this set. Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, Hyper Voice. So 2 stabs, Fire move to hit Steel types, and then Focus Blast can be used to hit Pokemon such as Tyranitar, Heatran. You can run Surf, again, Thunder, Grass Knot. It has so many options as a Pokemon that there is really no definite set. I think running Draco Meteor and Fire Blast is always there. Hyper Voice is just great stab in general, and then you don't have to run Hyper Voice, but you can run like Ice Beam or anything like that. You also Landorus, Gliscor, respectively. But it really is up to you what you want to run on a choice Drampa. But Berserk is cool as it gives you that special attack boost when you get low, and it does have some nice natural resistances that allow you to tank hits and then get lower. Okay, and then just lower your HP to get your special attack boost. So next up is a Rain Abuser. This is one of the options that it does have. You can run an Assault Vest on that. Goodra can do this as well. However, Drampa has such a cool move pool. Goodra also shares Surf and Thunder with it, but Drampa also has Hurricane to threaten grass types, and Sap Sipper is really cool, I think, on a rain team, because again, having that immunity to grass type attacks that would normally threaten your rain abusers like Kabutops for neutral damage on Kingdra. So it's a really cool option that gives you a grass immunity to those. There's also an electric resistance for Pokemon such as Tapu Koko opposing a Alolan Raichu that definitely threaten rain teams, or even Thundurus, because this thing with an Assault Vest can definitely tank HP Ices or Focus Blast from Thundurus, knock it out with a Draco Meteor. So that's why this is a set where Sap Sipper is actually better than Berserk, in my opinion. However, Assault Vest is a cool item, I think, on Drampa, but when a Pokemon like this has Roost, I'm going to just say don't always go for an option like Assault Vest. Yeah, it does let it tank hits, but it has Roost, so it has longevity anyway. I would pair this again on a rain team if you want. Dragon Stab, Surf, Thunder, Hurricane, pretty much just a rain abuser. Surf gets boosted by rain, Thunder's accuracy gets boosted by rain, and Hurricane's accuracy gets boosted by rain. And also with Sap Sipper, it helps you take advantage of grass types. So like I said, Drampa has so many options. Energy Ball can be ran, Grass Knot, Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Glare. A Glare set can be ran just to slow down your opponent, paralyze them. I mean, Glare is 100% accurate. And again, Ice Beam, Substitute, maybe Dragon Tail and Assault Vest set. You can run a Dragium Z, you can run a Normilium Z to get the Z move on Dragon, as well as Normal. Normal Jump can also be used, because, I mean, it's really up to you. I would use Normilium Z if anything, just to boost Hyper Voice's power. But like I said, it has so many options, and it really is just customizable to what you want. It also has good physical options: Earthquake, Play Rough, Return, standard stuff like that. But it doesn't have the best attack stat. Even if you manage to get an attack raise because of Sap Sipper, it doesn't really have the best attack stat to abuse that. And Special is generally better, has a lot better coverage. So teammates, Celesteela. Celesteela can tank the Dragon type moves that come at it, and it also appreciates Drampa getting rid of Pokemon like Magnezone. They just pair really well together naturally. Take the Dragon type attacks that are aimed at it. Drampa can take the Electric type attacks that are aimed at Celesteela, again dealing with Magnezone. Greninja likes Drampa because Drampa gets rid of Ferrothorn. Drampa weakens Pokemon such as Tapu Fini with Hyper Voice for Greninja, whether it be Protean or Ash Greninja, to plow through the opponent. Also, again, resist Grass, resist the electric type attacks that can come out at Greninja. Landorus Therian is really nicely paired defensively with Drampa because it resists fighting, which is something that Drampa is weak to, and likewise Drampa can take on the water attacks that are aimed at Landorus. So defensively, they're very solid together. Again, Ferrothorn, Landorus, Drampa. Very nice core. Ferrothorn resists the dragon type attacks. Landorus resists the fighting. Drampa resists the fire that Ferrothorn is weak to. Landorus has an immunity to ground, so really nice defensive coverage. And as Trick Room abusers would go, Magearna and Porygon are really nice for setting up the Trick Room. Porygon is just a really consistent Trick Room user. Unless you have Taunt, you're not stopping this thing from getting up Trick Room as recovery, and Drampa can abuse that with the Trick Room set. Whereas Magearna resist Dragon and is immune to Dragon, and resist Ice that can be thrown at Drampa. Can set up Trick Room, can Volt Switch on out into there, and even without Trick Room, even as a Assault Vest user, it can tank hits for Drampa. So anyway, hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited to show you guys Drampa in the showcase later today. Love Drampa, really fun mod. But feel free, of course, to leave a like, subscribe. Like I said, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. The links are down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.